Hey guys, well, we're back at the forge today. I got quite a few things to do. One of the things is I'm going to try to make a hold down on my anvil. So what I ended up doing is taking some 1-inch bar, 3/8 inch. I drilled 2 holes in it on both ends. And then I welded on a handle here. And what I'm hoping to do is I'm going to bend this in the forge down, right, and that'll fit over the top of this anvil. I decided I needed this because when I was trying to make this Tomahawk, when I was trying to punch this hole, so I was trying to hold this down on the anvil and trying to punch through it to drift out the center for the handle. It was really difficult to do that all together, all by myself. So I think I need a hold down. That way, you know, I'll be able to drift this out further for the handle, so I can finish that up today. The other thing I got to do is make a drift. I think the drift that I'm going to use today is this. This is about 5/8, and it's about the same size as a railroad spike in diameter, and that's what I made this out of. And so I think this will be perfect. I will narrow this down, forge this down a little bit, this tip, and punch this through, and then I can make a wood handle for it out of some red oak I've got. So that's at least the idea anyway. The other thing I got to do today is I got to finish up a new set of tongs I made. As you remember in my previous videos, I made some tongs out of the 3/8 inch thick material, and I felt that was just a little too thick and too hard and too heavy. So I went down to this 1-inch piece of 3/16, and it's worked out much better. These are pretty flat, as you can see, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle these. So that's it. That's the big day today. So I'm going to get the forge going, and we'll see how it turns out today. The other couple of things I wanted to mention before we go too far is I did make some changes to the forge. I've been using the Buffalo, the hand cranked Buffalo forge. I'll show you that. This hand cranked Buffalo forge, and it's been working out okay. But I find that when I'm burning this anthracite, a hairdryer, a simple hairdryer in the back, really does get the coal hot enough and consistent enough. It just keeps on providing that lots of air, and I don't have to be cranking this thing all the time. Now the only other thing about that is I've got to be able to control the airflow, which I do through the ash dump. So I'll show you that real quick. Okay, here's the ash dump that I put on my forge. And this is actually, this mechanism right down here is from Tractor Supply, and it ends up being one of those tractor smokestack rain guards. And it just so happened I picked up one. It was about 2-inch, and it fit perfectly on my 2-inch pipe. So I mean, I could have made it, but you know, heck, I'm making a lot of other things, so I decided to go for that. It was relatively inexpensive. Now, as I'm running this blow dryer through to supply the air, I do have to have a way to control it because sometimes it just blows too much. And so I found that just opening this up a little bit and keeping it maybe at that point, or even full open when I'm trying to light the fire and I don't blow out the flames from the newspaper, is I just got this little simple thing here, and it just holds it open, and that'll control the flame. Okay, that's it. So time to get this thing cranked up. Alright, here we go. This looks pretty good. Well, it's good enough. let's put it back in. That's one side. We'll get the other side now. I'm still learning. I've figured out the hard way that I've got to really watch the metal. I've burned quite a few things where it's come out like molten lava. I did that with the tongs. I had a railroad E-clip. Instead of spikes, they sometimes use E-clips, and they're great. I thought I could straighten them out and make a nice blade out of it, but geez, I put it in the forge. I walked away for a few minutes. Wasn't thinking. I had the air going full blast. I came back and it had completely like melted apart, and I was picking out little pieces of it. So I really do need to watch the metal, make sure it doesn't overheat. Because this forge, you know, with a blow dryer on it, with all that constant air, and using the anthracite coal, can really heat things up. Okay, guys, I finished the hold down. That should work pretty well, I hope. So I'll be able to pick this up and hold things like this, so I can shape the tips of my tongs. So I think that'll work out just right. And then if I want to get it out of the way, I could just quickly take it off here. Okay, great. Now on to the next project.